From the Ventura County Office of Education, this is the Focus on Education podcast. And now, here's your host, Ventura County Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Cesar Morales.
Well, hi everyone, and welcome to Focus on Education. Today, we're looking at the way emotions and relationships impact education. It's called social emotional learning, or SEL. Understanding it is key to helping students succeed in school. There's no one better to help us on this journey than my guest today, Lori Woodley Langendorf. She's an author and educator who has dedicated her career to social emotional aspects of education. Lori, thanks for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me, Dr. Morales. This is exciting to be here.
First off, tell us about yourself and your work specifically in SEL.
So I think the best way to describe myself in SEL is it's like my third child. I have two, and as a counselor, so I was a school counselor for 28 years on school campuses, and the last 16 years in Conejo, right here in our own backyard. I'm a lifetime, 55 of my 60 years in Ventura County. So this is home and serving in this area. As a school counselor, even before COVID, I personally started to get concerned about some of the things I was seeing happening from the start of my career to when I started All It Takes in 2010. And the biggest thing was how much of our kids' ability to own outcomes or not feel shame around doing something wrong. So they had to protect it and then deny it in too many cases. And parents who are having a hard time helping their kids grow up, not be loved, of course, but grow up and be able to go, ooh, I did that. Ouch, I don't have to do that again. Or I have the confidence to ask for help when I need it. So those pieces of what was happening with our kids long before COVID, I started to be concerned about, and then started developing curriculum and a nonprofit, All It Takes, around really elevating those skills for our students.
Well, definitely, we're very lucky that you kept a pulse on our students and kept asking questions. And it seems like your journey has led you to so much. But, just the simple question that our audience might have, what do we mean when we say social emotional learning? Like, what would that mean to educators and support staff, counselors, and what would that mean for parents?
Yeah, so social emotional learning is what we call it in schools. I typically call it social emotional literacy because I think we should be my personal opinion is we should be looking at the literacy of resilience, the ability to come back from disappointment, the ability to rebound from something that is really terrible and regroup and still see a future for ourselves, to be dreamers. So social emotional literacy is those skills that help us navigate especially hard times. But it's also the skills that help us find joy and name joy when things are really great. What do we dream of? What's possible? Social emotional literacy are really those ability to identify the feelings that help us identify who we are as a unique genius individual on this planet. And I think that we have to be developing those alongside reading literacy, mathematic literacy, right? We have to understand how we navigate in our changing world. Like when you don't understand something, how do you ask for help? When, you have something to contribute, how do you find your voice if you tend to be a quiet person? How do you accept a no from someone in authority and not have like a total meltdown? And then how do we have a conversation when we get a no that we don't want? That we can accept the no, but also express our feelings about it without like maybe destroying a conversation or sometimes even a relationship. So social emotional literacy is really in the adult world of business and corporate, it's really emotional intelligence. That's what we would call it. We call it social emotional in schools, and the workforce outside of education calls it emotional intelligence.
Thank you for that explanation. To dive just a little deeper, what skills and tools do you find helpful in working with our students?
So for me personally, and how we work with adults who work with kids, the first thing is to be really honest with them. Not so honest that we tell our life secrets, right? But that we're experiencing a hard day. Have you ever had a hard day? I think that one of the most important things we can do that we often step back from is being truthful, being relatable. Like, oh yeah, you're going through that. This topic, mathematics, for me was really hard as a kid. Maybe somebody else struggles with reading, but if I can say, wow, when I was doing math, it put me in tears. And I wonder if sometimes you feel like it's hard to do it. And that's probably how I felt 40 years ago. I think the tools are owning ourselves and being willing to say, oops, I messed that up. And here's how I can clean that up. And it was an ouch, and I created that. But can we move forward? And I'm going to try better next time. I think that our kids today, especially today, want us to be authentic. They
Mm-hmm.
want us to be genuine. They actually need us to be in order for them to navigate the amount of information coming at them all the time. They need to hear what's real so they can learn to discern what's not real. And I think that's more critical than ever right now.
Thank you very much for that. So we're talking about something very essential for our students. And can you elaborate a little bit more on the benefit of when we teach SEL in a school setting?
So I think for our educators, one of the biggest benefits is behaviors are more manageable. I think that you can't have, and I know that's something that's a big stressor for a lot of educators right now. Also, so behaviors are more manageable because the student starts to understand their behavior and the trigger that created it. And then we start to look at root causes rather than the current superficial circumstance that seems like it was the trigger, but it's never the trigger. What is the trauma or what is the learned behavior? But when we're in a relationship, and you introed this, right? Relationships and connections. When we're in a relationship with a student where I can say, whoa, that was a lot. What's going on for you? Right? Our students are going to be like, oh, yeah, there's a lot. And I don't actually really want to cause you pain. I don't really want to feel dysregulated. But you can help me feel regulated. You can help me
Mhm.
move through a tough moment and reset. And it doesn't mean I have to leave the classroom. It doesn't mean I need to see a VP. Like there are so many ways for us to teach our kids, and that's how to regulate. And then it's going to help our behaviors, and it's going to help ultimately our ability to teach and their ability to learn. And so in relationships and connection and high level, not just teaching SEL, but being it, representing it on our own really helps our students do the things we need them to do. Start to see the value of homework in their own future, or
Mhm.
start to see the value of a topic that's hard for them in their own future. Those are the things that really help us um, grow our whole child in schools.
Thank you for that, Lori. This sounds great. I'm glad that many of our districts, many of our teachers are trained in implementing SEL strategies, creating an environment where SEL is thriving. But what are some practical things parents can do to support their child with SEL if they want to start incorporating this at home?
I think I want to say this to parents, and I'm a mom, my 31 and 34-year-old, like, so we've been there. Um, and when your parents, your sisters and brothers with every other parent, right? So the first one I want to say, and this comes from early on, is really believe that your child can do more than they think they can do. And really like encourage them to do the thing that they might not want to do because it feels a little bit edgy or a little bit off. Now, sometimes it's not that, but to us as parents, it's like this isn't hard. But if a child is resisting, it's hard for them in the moment. But it doesn't mean it's not a good skill for them to have going into their future. For example, I know a lot of people, you sit in restaurants, and I see a lot of parents order food from the menu for their child. And I've heard parents say, "Hey, tell them what you want." No, I don't want to. I don't want to. Well, then we come in and I call this serving versus saving. We want to support them to find their voice. And those little things like ordering their own food in a restaurant actually helps them develop the confidence to find their voice. So when they need to talk to a teacher about something that went wrong in class, they feel confident to do that. I think that asking our kids and then being patient enough to let them do it, even if it gets a little messy, to actually clear their own plates at dinner. I know that sounds odd, but like those are life skills that help us raise competent, confident kids who feel like they're part of a contribution to something bigger than themselves. And I think that that's where we start to look around us in the world and say, oh, wow, how can I be a contribution and take care of myself? And that I want those things. So, as parents, one, believing they can. Another really quick story is the silly thing about a banana. I'm with a family
Mhm.
member. My niece walks in the door and or walks in the room. She's like, I can't open this banana. She's like 12 or 10.
Mhm.
And I said, and her stepmom's like, then don't eat it. Well, that's one way, right? And then
Mhm.
my brother's like, oh, I could do it for you. And that's another way. And then I'm sitting there as auntie and I'm like, hey, Mia, what if you used your creativeness and you found a way? Because I know you can open that banana. There's a lot of ways to open a banana. She leaves the room kind of in a huff, like no one saved her. She comes back like 3 or 4 minutes later and she's beaming. And she has two halves of a banana because she went in the kitchen and she cut it in half. And it's like a simple thing. But
Mhm.
one parent was going to be like, well, then don't eat. Like it can be dismissive. But that's
Mhm.
sometimes because we're frustrated. Like, of course you can open that banana. But that doesn't really serve her, right? It's like it's
Mhm.
dismissive and she probably would never have eaten a banana. And
Mhm.
another person was going to open it for her, but a 10-year-old didn't need him to do that. But the middle ground is I know you've got this. Let me see what you've got. And I think if we did that with our kids more often, our kids would be more confident, like they would stand up taller. They'd be like, I've got this. Let me help you with that. And some of the things that families face and frustrations, especially with current times and a lot of stressors, our shortness with our kids can be reframed, and we can start to enjoy each other again, have more fun around the dinner table,
Mhm.
because the kids feel like they're a part of things. I like to ask kids at our programs, like, how many of you let your parents do things for you that you're capable of doing?
Mhm.
And when they are literally processing that question, they're kind of like, yeah, me. And I can be like, clear your table, make your bed, make sure that, you help with laundry. And so it's really beautiful to see kids develop these skills.
Thank you. Definitely, parents can take every moment, not just in the home, as you heard, a situation at the restaurant, and just casual things all the time. Being conscious to help our kids become self-reliant, resilient, promote their own self-esteem and self-efficacy. That's great. Um, you're leading a workshop here at VCOE on January 28th. Who is it for and what's it about?
So I think SEL development should be fun. And I think we should be enjoying each other way more than maybe we are right now. And so for 2 hours from 4 to 6 at VCOE, thank you for hosting this. We're going to have some fun with as parents, educators, and your kids. Anybody 7 years old and up, bring them. Your teenagers are like, I don't want to do that. Well, you know what? For 2 hours, they can come do this with you and we will have fun. And what I can promise you is through activity. We are not like PowerPoint, or slideshow centric. We are in action, laughing, playing, relating with each other in a way that sometimes we've forgotten or we get so busy we're not doing. And on the other side of it, this is a big commitment, but it is my commitment to you and your families, is that they will, one, have fun. They will, two, have shared an experience that they didn't think was possible, especially with your older kids who maybe, how are your day? Fine. And that's the best you get out of them. We will have so much laughter. And, dare I say it, I put this in LinkedIn. I promise you really won't want it to be done, except maybe you'll be hungry for dinner, because that's how good it feels to have fun, to be connected, and to enjoy each other. Whether we're strangers or we're family members, joy is possible, and it's just time to have some more of it.
Well, thank you for brightening up our day with our listeners today. And we're all looking forward to the workshop where everyone is going to learn some valuable life skills and have fun to go with it.
Yeah, wonderful. Can't wait to see all of you there.
Thank you. And thank you for being on Focus on Education.
Focus on Education is a production of the Ventura County Office of Education. We encourage you to subscribe and join us each month for new episodes. You can find Focus on Education wherever you get your podcasts or at vcoe.org/podcast. We also welcome your feedback. You can email us at communications@vcoe.org.